there's nothing like being in the green room, but when you get to have one of these type of discussions, it's like it just makes you feel like wow, like this is for all entrepreneurs that are out there. I promise you, this is for all the small business owners out there. I promise you have been hiding from different folks because you're not sure what you're doing right and what you're not doing right. Okay, forget it. We'll get into that in just a moment, but let me go ahead and introduce Toni Moore. Now, I'm not going to read her bio because I never do. I haven't yet anyway. So Toni Moore, what's going on? Tell the folks, who is Toni? That's what they want to know. But more importantly, what is Toni up to these days?
Hey everyone. First of all, I want to give honor to God. Okay. Now I want to thank the Happy Entrepreneur Show for allowing me to be here. Thank you so much, Shay Brown, for allowing me to be a guest on your amazing show. And thank you for all you night owls who came out here to learn about the legally chic ways of protecting your assets. So, I've just been really busy just serving up people, being super bossy with my clients, letting them know that law matters, letting them know about, just taking care of their business like a baby or like a man, whichever one it takes for them to handle their business the right way so they don't miss out on opportunities and they don't get caught up with get you gotcha government. So I really love what I do. I think I was born for this, just being legally chic and so amazing with regards to just letting my people know what they need to do so that they can play these business rules, because to me, business is a game, so the business rules of the game so that they can at least be more successful in it.
There's some folks that are listening right now, and we're in the green room, so we get to ask any question we want. And they're wondering, you keep saying protect your assets. You said that a few times. Take a moment and slow down for a moment, and then we'll speed up and tell folks what you mean by you say protect your assets, just so we're all on the same page.
Okay. So for the most part, sometimes I sound like an accountant for some people, which I'm not. But, when I talk about protecting your assets, I'm talking about your money-making activities, what allows you to make money while you're asleep. Most of the people I talk to a lot are authors, speakers, coaches, service providers, thought leaders, preachers, who understand and appreciate that, their assets, their solutions, their courses, their keynotes, that je ne sais quoi, that intellectual property, is something that they can make money with. Not only that, I work in Philadelphia area with a lot of people who are wholesalers and they have real estates and investments and they have equity interest in other people's properties, subscription agreements. So if it can make you money, then that's an asset because it increases your money. You're right. So anytime I tell people to protect your assets, I'm pretty much talking about asset protection ways of making sure that if there is a litigation, that the person who is on the other side of a complaint cannot go straight in and just and pretty much take what you have built up for yourself. So when you're setting boundaries, that's when I tell people to protect your assets, your money-making activities, your money, your investment property, protect your assets, your investments, your equity, your shares, your interests, protect your assets. That's what I'm always talking to people. Even if you have whole life insurance, the assets would be the cash value, anything that you can use to leverage to make more money with. Those are all assets that you need to protect.
What do you say to the entrepreneurs listening right now that's thinking, okay, we're in the green room, this is cool, but man, is this going to be a beat me up session? Because some things, Toni, I got to be honest with you. I know what to do, but I haven't done it. Will I get a chance to hear a few things that I can do so I can put myself in a much better position?
Ideally, if I can get people to not think that law is icky. Like I saw somebody was like the yucky side of law. I'm like, what the hell? Like you're in business and you run from law like it's the yucky side. I want people to think like if we all watched the Queen Gambit, I know I watched all of it in pretty much like two settings, but when you think of it like, oh, business is a game and strategy is just knowing what I need to know to get to the next level. Most of my clients don't know. They don't know how to leverage their assets. They don't know how to get that certification. They don't know how to negotiate a contract. They don't know how to make sure that if they're going to get some insurance that they at least get the equity at the end of that conversation. They don't really know that because most of us, I mean, you could see I'm an African American woman, but most of us have been cultivated just to have sweat equity and not owner's equity. So if I can just get you to start shifting your mindset as the CEO, or like I like to call it, the fiduciary of your success, man, that's going to change your whole conversation, because you ain't going to be thinking about checkers or running or saying law is icky. You're just going to be like, oh, shoot, I need to up level with the next level on my legal strategies, so that, guess what? This is the answer to who is me when it comes to my business, when it comes to my brand. And I want people to really start thinking, just think if they start thinking, not like, oh, it's just something I have to do, but it's something I have to protect.
Something I have to protect. Ladies and gentlemen, we get started in just a moment. We're going to come back and we're going to talk about 5 ways to protect your digital assets. But more importantly, we're going to ask you, what are 1 or 2 things that you can do as an entrepreneur today, not only to get on the right path, but also to show up and make sure that, you have what you need going forward as well. We'll be back, and this is my favorite part, by the way, in 5, 4, 3. It's going to be showtime. 2, 1. We'll be right back. Promise I made to my mom. I only did this message for one person, and that's my mom. This is for you, Mom. Love you. My name is Shay Brown, the happy entrepreneur. Make it a great day, everyone. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
All right, Shay Brown.
Mic check, mic check.
All I do is win, no matter what. Got money on my mind, I can never get enough. And every time I step up in the building, everybody hands go up.
Yes. Yeah.
And they stay there. And they stay there, and they stay there. Cause all I do is win.
Well, it's a great day. My name is Shay Brown, the happy entrepreneur, and welcome to the Happy Entrepreneur Show, the #1 business development and revenue focused late night show in the country, where we're on a mission. And our mission is to empower, our mission is to inspire, and our mission is to provide you, that's right, you, the entrepreneur, with all of the resources that are necessary to execute that big vision you have for the people you were called to serve. And I always say you have 3 visions, by the way. I believe first you have a vision for yourself. The home you want to live in, the organic foods you want you and your family to eat, the vacations that you want to go on. They'll come back one day. There will be a day again, and you will go on those vacations. And it takes resources, which means it takes revenue. And then the second vision you have is you have a vision, I believe, for your loved ones, the ones you care the very, very most about. Some of you have kids. You want to send them to a college of your choice or school of your choice. Others of you want to write a check for a cause you believe in so much. And others, you just want to take care of somebody's health care insurance. I mean, if you can do that, it'd be just fine for you. It takes resources, which means it takes revenue to make that happen. And then the third vision you have is you have a vision for the people you were called to serve. And I always use the story of Noah in the Bible because I'm a believer. You don't have to be a believer, so I'm not going to pose my faith on you. But there's a story of Noah in the Bible. And imagine you're this guy in the Bible, the character. And right before you get started, God's giving you all the experience. He's giving you all the expertise. You're ready to go. And right before you go, there's a knock at the door. And you're like, wait a minute, I heard the knock. What's going on? Noah, here. Noah, over, what, right, where, oh, there. Yeah, Noah, there's no hammers in the house. Okay, no hammers. I can live with that. Yeah, I know. It's the second knock. It's always the second knock, isn't it? What's up, my man? I might as well confess. There are no nails either. Okay, no hammers, no nails. Maybe that's you right now. You have everything you need, but it's okay. I know. It's always the third knock. You're like, oh, my gosh. And they say, look, no, I got to admit, there's no wood and there's no people. Put the boat together. Good luck. And maybe that's you. You want to get going, but you got to have the resources necessary. And part of those resources is making sure you have your assets protected and you're doing the right thing so you don't pay later more than you need to right now. So with the person we have in the house today is the one and only Toni Moore. What's up, Toni Moore? How are you, my friend?
Hello. Thank you for having me again. You are so inspirational. When you start, I'm just saying, I'm just looking at you and listening like, yes, the third vision.
You know, you talk about the third vision. Let me address the elephant in the room. For the entrepreneur out there, and you talked about earlier, you work with a lot of service-based business and different folks all over. Why is it that entrepreneurs, myself, and I put myself in that category, none of you watching, of course, why is it that we don't take time to make sure we have some of the paperwork in order so we can protect our assets? What kind of holds us back from doing that, based on your experience?
Based on my experience, it's well, we're destroyed by lack of knowledge. So that's a huge thing right there. And not only that, but it's almost like the same as most people don't drink water, you know? It's like we avoid it. So if you don't like it, you will avoid it. Or if you have bad experience, you know, and most people I know, you know, are, you know, they have introduction to law based on what? Family court, maybe a divorce, a bankruptcy, a loss of a house, a foreclosure, or someone being in prison, jail, or an indictment, you know? So when you have those things, you're not like running to something that gives you angst and that you absolutely hate. You know, you're trying to avoid it at all costs. And when you're trying to avoid it, then guess what? You don't get a chance to know it. You don't get a chance to know the nuances. And you darn sure is not going to seek wise counsel so that you can up level to the next level. So for the most part, it's always about lack of knowledge, because when you know better, when you know what you need to know, when you know what people have not taught you, when you know how to strategize so much better, and when you understand that, to me, business is an investment. Like, you don't know this, but once upon a time, I was a financial planner, and we have set these numbers. Okay, how do you set the numbers when you retire? You know, are you going to have 500,000, you know, $1 million? And those numbers are crazy if you're doing a 9 to 5, and you know you're W-2 and you got a job, and you're in a 40-year sentence where you're doing 40 hours a week for 40 years, only to come up with like what, 60% of your income, even 40% that you pretty much saved on latte money. You know what I mean? But when you start thinking about your business is your investment, and God did give you the power to create wealth. So when you got that brilliance and you box your brilliance into a business, now it's not so hard for you to start saving $1,000, especially when people are like on these 100K months. You know what I mean? So that's where I'm always like, I like that part, because now we get a chance to up level, not from just a W-2 employee, not from just waiting for a paycheck, not for just waiting for that bonus check. But now it's like, okay, now I have a financial plan, and the number one investment is going to be using my business, you know? So when you start thinking like that, you're like, this is my biggest investment so that I can have that, you know, I can fund vision 1, vision 2, and vision 3 in a trust.
I love it. You know, before we get into the 5 ways to protect your assets, you mentioned legally chic earlier. Take a moment and kind of talk about what is the mission, what is its objectives, and who does it really serve? So someone is listening might be thinking, I heard that sounded cool, Shay, but I'm not sure what it is and if that really appeals to me. So can you take a moment and talk about it, please?
Yes. So legally chic is something that I came up with because of the fact that, you know, I'm a woman, I'm a lawyer, I have been also adjunct professor since 1997. So I was looking around and I did a quick study because I heard about it in Cosmo, and I was like, this can't be it. Is that most women, when we do research, we research on how to look good and how to get a man. You know what I mean? And I was just like, well, how about how to make money, and how about how to, you know, less red bottoms and more bottom lines, you know? So I was thinking, you know, how can we make it so that it's not so scary? So I realized, you know, I like fashion. You know, my godmom is a fashion person. My mom, you know, she would create fashions, and you know, I'm one of those women who like fashion. And I was like, if I wore the wrong stuff, my sister girls would tell me, Toni, that's not the right season. No, you can't mix that material. No, that color. And I was like, I want them to dress their business entity the same way that they dress their bodies. You know, it's like, I'm a mom, and if I come looking good to the nines and everything else, and then I have my sons with me and they all raggedy, then people will talk about me like, what kind of mom is she? You know what I mean? What kind of caretaker is she? And I want people to start thinking the same way they dress themselves to the nines, the same way they know about the labels and the Louboutins and, Givenchy and Fendi and how they can get their red bottoms. I want them to dress their business entity just as well. I want that business entity to look good on paper. So there's rules of fashion and there's rules of legal, So I was thinking, well, people are clear about the rules. They're harmonized with the rules. They're informed about the rules and they can be compliant with the rules. Then they don't have to look so raggedy in business, because people do judge us. They judge us on our numbers and they judge us on how our business shows up. So, I like fashion. I like law. We came up with legally chic. And for the most part, women are attracted to it because I am a feminist and I truly believe that money answers all things and money gives you options. That will be a whole different story. That attracts women, and most women were not cultivated to be bosses in business. No, we was cultivated to be Barbies next to Ken. And in this day and age, being a God girl myself, I'm just like, no, we need to be the Shunammite woman. We need to be the virtuous woman. We need to have the finances. We need to be able to, protect our assets, protect our husbands, protect our land, and invest in the future. Because 72% of most of the money that women have, we spread the joy and we give it to other people. So if I up-level a sister, I'll up-level a whole gosh darn world.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Padonna Zimmerman is out there watching right now. Karen is watching right now. Jacob is watching, saying, yes, this is right. Quick question for you. They may be wondering, and we're going to get in. Don't worry, folks. I'm going to ask about these 5 ways to protect your assets. They might be wondering, where does this passion come from? Where's this fire? She has this burning desire inside of her to really make a difference. Where does this come from? Take a moment and tell me a little bit about your backstory. What brought you to having this passion to help other entrepreneurs in the profession that you're in now?
My biggest passion came from the fact that I was born and raised in the hood. I was writing a book and I told someone that I was so poor that I was po. We didn't have options. We didn't have resources. And I always wanted to know what it would be like to get on the other side of life, the other side of having money and making moves, the other side of, the fancy house, other and above Goodwill, over and above living in the shelters and other people's basements and looking for food off the ground. So I had this passion I wanted to be a businesswoman, and then I got a chance to go to Milton Hershey School for 3 years. And during that time period, I got a chance to see what other people look like and have an opportunity not to necessarily survive life, but just to be saturated in what I do so well, which is to study and to write and to lead. And then that 3-year time period let me go to the University of Penn, where I met people who they were legacy wealthpreneurs. Okay, legacy wealth. And I was just like, I wanted more people to understand and appreciate that we didn't have to be stuck in our beginnings and stuck in our brokenness and stuck where we started out, or even we're birthed through. Like my mom was almost a teenager mom picking the wrong man just so she don't get kicked out the house, So I'm always thinking, what? We can change our lives. And for me, my biggest change was when I started boxing my brilliance in business. And I literally went from crying because I didn't know how to ask for a sale over $500 to pretty much sitting down and showing up and giving people a $10,000 invoice in business.
In business. And what do you say to the woman that's out there is listening right now, and it could be a man as well, that's like, wow, it just seems so overwhelming to try to get my business going, trying to learn my craft, and then I got to go back and say, oh, this idea I came up to, I might not be able to use it. Take a moment and talk about one way to protect your asset, and then kind of wrap it into the person that thinks that it's just so overwhelming.
Yes. So I was definitely there with the overwhelm of the underwhelm of not thinking that you're good enough, not thinking that you're smart enough, because, let's be real. When you're in the hood, when you laughed at, when you getting addressed at the Goodwill, you know what I mean? When you don't really know who your daddy is, that's a bad situation. But when you start looking around and I need you to start studying other people. Most people who have quote unquote made it, they all have some level of broken story, right? And they were literally tapped into the brilliance within themselves, something that they did so well, whether it was storytelling, whether it was being a videographer, whether it was, cleaning the table, whether it was making fried chicken. There's something inside of you that it will make you more bankable. There is something inside of you. I'm going to preach this today, but it's something inside of you. Because my thing is, you was already brilliant, you're anointed, you're necessary, and there's a knowledge that, you can share with the rest of the world. So for me, when you understand that, you got to formalize a business around that, right? Yeah, I always tell people you box your brilliance in business, because when you box your brilliance in business, then you have accessibility to maybe becoming a certified business owner, business credit, something that will allow you to take your brilliance to the next level. So don't be like me. It took me like about 15 years to realize that the same way that, I was getting paid at a job is the same way, if not more, than I can get paid in a business.
I love that. Get paid as a business. So well said. For those folks out there, do me a favor. Hit the share button. Crystal Cunningham is out there right now. Joseph, I'm sorry. It doesn't matter what platform you're on. I know some of you are watching right on the Happy Entrepreneur Show. Some of you are in one of the groups. You're out there right now. I get it. Hit the share button. And the reason you want to hit the share button is you want to pay this message forward to another entrepreneur. Don't worry, I'm going to ask her, what's one way to protect your assets? And she's going to answer that question in just a moment. But when you hit the share button, when you hit that button and that little box pops up, just write in serve plus add value. Just do that. That's what Toni's doing right now. No matter what time you're watching, this morning, this evening, this afternoon, whatever time it is for you, wherever you are in the world, it's all about how do you serve and add value and how do you protect your assets. So Toni, as they're hitting the share button right now, go ahead, bless another entrepreneur. Pay it forward to another small business owner. Take a moment and give us what's one way, I should say, to protect your assets.
Yes, definitely. With regards to formalize your brilliance in a business. Okay. That's the biggest way. And I say like a limited liability company, not the sole proprietor, unless you're just really trying to figure it out, but it's the limited liability company that's going to limit your liability so that if any litigators or any regulators come after you, they are not going to be able to take all of your money that you save, your rainy day foundation money. They will only be able to take anything that's already in your business. So that's the big key, is that literally formalize your business into a limited liability company. That's number one.
Okay. And what's number two? I'll say that first.
Yes. Number two is always, always, always do business with a contract. See, I always say,
gosh, I hate it when you say that. It's so true. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I've been guilty. So what do you say the person says, I already know this, Toni, but I'm not doing it because they seem so complicated. They really do. So I didn't mean to interrupt you. I got an ouch. I didn't know he was going to say that. I got an ouch. I did get an ouch. So can you slow down? Okay. Do business with a contract. For those folks that it seems like I got to write all these fancy words in there, and it's such a pain. All right, break it down for us. I'm sorry. I'm probably the only one out there, so you can breathe, by the way, because she's gonna do a little deep dive on this.
Deep dive. I want you to always remember that as a former litigator, the closer I get to 50 years old, okay, I'm not going to court. But let me just tell you something. And even if you don't ever go to court, always remember that, when there is a promise and there is paper, then there is protection, right? So there's a promise and paper is protection. Without any paper, the paper serves as your prophylaxis that protects your what? Your assets, right? So when you have a promise or someone is promising you, then you have to put it on paper because people forget, and so if there's ever litigation, there's something called an exhibit. An exhibit is, well, where's the promise? Well, if it wasn't written down, then oftentimes it didn't happen. So I don't want you to think that it has to be fancy. I have a couple of people, I'm like, you didn't go to law school, so stop trying to be a lawyer, but at least be a business owner who knows that your business and the money that is owed to you is yours. So do that, even if it's, hi, this is Toni, and Shay. And Shay promised to do this, and Toni promised to pay this fee. And if it doesn't get paid in XYZ time period, then guess what? It's null and void. Toni gets her money back. That is as simple as it can be. Now, of course, when you have more intricate, information, or you have an extension of the promise, then of course it's longer. And then you always want to have some protections with regards to, oh, well, if you change your mind, then you got to send me this notice at this time period. Because here's the thing. Numbers don't lie, but these figure. But if you don't have the prophylactics that's protecting your assets and your accessibility to money, then you lose.
You lose. You become loose and you lose. Oh, your analogies are just they're spot on, by the way. They are super spot on. And here's the thing. It's true. For those folks that are out there hitting, man, you're getting some good information. Hit the share button right now. Hit the watch party button. Pay this message forward. We believe in the giver's economy. The person out gives the competition, out earns the competition. The person out gives the competition, out earns the competition. Hit the share button right now. All right, Toni, you gave us number 1. You gave us number 2. What's number 3? Third way to protect our assets.
Right. Well, since I'm usually talking to people who are on the digital platform, whether it is Facebook or Instagram or Twitter or Vimeo or YouTube, I want you to start thinking like a producer, right? Mm-hmm. And when you start thinking like a producer, then you have a show like the Happy Entrepreneur Show with Shay Brown. That's a show, right? And I want you to always know that all of the information that you're putting out into this digital world, that's part of your digital economy. So you need to protect what you create, your intangible into something tangible. And whether it is a blog post, whether it is a live session, a live stream, an authorship program, a summit, all of that information is your intellectual property. And I want you to capture it, the recordation of it, into your copyright. So that's number 3 is the copyright your creative works, your content, copyright your blogs, copyright your interviews, copyright your sessions and your keynotes. Shucks, copyright your quotes into a quotes book, copyright your sketches into a sketchbook. Because if you don't copyright it as of 2019, you don't have standing in court. And even if you do have standing in court, you got this you got a hard obstacle where you have to prove to the court that not only did you own it, but that the other person saw it and they had a modus operandi, a mindset to steal from you. Whereas for $60, unless you don't want to do it, and of course there's service fees, but for $60, you already did that prima facie hump. So it's always like when you talking to me as a former litigator, well, I mean, I'm still litigating, but one day I will be. So I keep saying as a former litigator, I want you to always think when I say lawyer says what, is always what happens at court. What happens at trial? WHAT. So if you are saying, Toni, someone stole my keynote and they wrote it into an ebook in this digital economy, I'm like, well, where's the copyright registration so that I can establish that not only did you create it, but that you registered it, right? And you created it and then you registered it with a mindset of protecting your assets.
Got it. We got give us a recap. What was number 1? What was number 2? What was number 3? And then lead us right into number 4. And ladies and gentlemen, as you're listening right now, you're having one of those conversations that you're not gonna get up and shout. Okay, you're not gonna jump up and down and say, "Oh," and start shouting. But I promise you, you will be able to protect your assets. You'll be able to protect that you worked hard for. And then at the end of the day, in the long term, you'll look back and be really glad you did this. And I know intellectually, you need to do it. But some of you might even know I didn't know. So some things I just didn't know what I didn't know. But now you do know. And Toni Moore is the right person to actually make it happen. Give us number 1, 2, and 3, and then lead us right to number 4, please.
Yes. Number 1 would be to box your brilliance into a business, preferably a limited liability company. If you're starting out and you're not looking for equity, but box it into a limited liability company, right? Mm-hmm. Number 2 is to definitely protect your ass. assets, with the paper prophylactics, right? So you protect your assets with a contract, because when you have a contract, you can constrict how much somebody going to dig into your assets in business, right? Number 3 is to fully appreciate that you are producing material and information. You're producing live sessions. You're producing, content. You're producing photographs. You're producing choreography. So as a creative contentpreneur, maybe I should trademark that. Anywho, as a creative contentpreneur, I want you to understand and appreciate that anything that you create that is worthy for you, that you can monetize, then you have to copyright it, because the person who has the copyright registration is the one who can pretty much publish, and the one who can pretty much leverage, and the one who can pretty much exploit, right? And then you can also detain other people from using your information, monetizing, saying, I don't own the rights to it. Come on, somebody. Number 4 would be to fully appreciate that your brand name matters. And so if it matters to you, like for instance, the Happy Entrepreneur Show with Shay Brown, if it matters to you and you don't want anybody else to use it, anybody else to get moneygasms from that name, then you're going to have to file a federal trademark. That would be number 4, is to file a federal trademark to protect your name of your digital brand, your digital empire, your fashion services, your coaching program, your conference.
Your conference. You can actually trademark a conference too.
You're trademarking the name. It's all about the name, right? As a God girl, what was the first thing that Adam had to do? He had to name something. And when he was able to name something, then he was able to dominate that thing, right? He was able to overcome and be the master of it. So when you name it, you manifest, because you become a master of it. Once you master something, and you named it, and that's your identifier, where people are like, well, who is this? They can always go on the back end and see the ownership of it. But if you put your name out there and you're creative like Nick Cannon, but you don't step into your role as the owner of the thing that you was fruitful and multiply, then you're going to lose that thing. I'm just saying.
And we just saw that happen. Absolutely. What's number 5, please? And for those folks out there, man, go ahead and make a note right below the video. She gave number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5. Yeah, it seems like a lot, but at the end of the day, you only need one idea. How many ideas do you need to change your life? One good idea implemented is better than 1,000 ideas right now. And every one of these are geared to do one thing and one thing only. That is protect your assets, which at the end of the day protects the money that you have in the bank for yourself, which makes it so, so cool. All right, give us number 5, Toni.
Number 5. I'm going to just say you're not going to like it. You might even say, ooh, she out. You might even say you don't want to hear it. But number 5 is to put success in your succession planning. Most people don't do that. Most people are not thinking about they're building a business that they can sell. Most people are not thinking that this business is something. We talk about legacy wealth, but we don't make legacy moves. And one of the biggest legacy moves that we need to start making, especially when we get older, is to have an estate plan to what's going to happen to our brand.
So it said so well. For those folks out there, listen to the one and only Toni Moore. She talked about how to protect your assets. And then she talked a lot about this bank your brilliance. And I'm going to ask about that when we get to the rapid fire segment, about that and what that means and what that really looks like. Toni, we're moving to a segment called Today is My January 1st. And for those folks out there listening like Kersha Campbell that says hello to you, by the way, and so many folks that are watching right now, you may know what I'm about to do. And today is your January 1st. You can write that right down. Look right below the video. Look right below the video and write today is my January 1st. And today is my January 1st represents one of those moments that you can create that could forever change your life. We don't wait for the calendar to say January 1st. We create a New Year's Day every freaking time we make a decision. And there's probably 1,000 decisions you make throughout the day. And any one of those decisions can forever change the trajectory of your life. You make a decision you're going to work out. That's a January 1st moment. Or you're going to sit back and you're going to binge watch Netflix, right? You make a decision, by the way, that you're going to eat hamburgers and French fries ketchup, mustard, salt, pepper. My sons will have some hot sauce. Some hot sauce in it. Or you're going to go to the refrigerator. You're going to open up. Inside the refrigerator, there's some kale. I know that tastes good. There's some broccoli. It's even better. Oh my gosh, there's some Brussels sprouts. Some Brussels sprouts. That's a January 1st moment. It's a do-over. It's a fresh start. It's my past. It no longer equals the future. So, Toni, when you hear those words, today is my January 1st, what goes through your mind?
That it should be an anthology and a trademark.
That's true. I'm calling you tomorrow morning. I'm gonna write that down myself. Don't nobody else try to trademark it, okay, Toni? Okay. All right. So when you hear it, what else goes through your mind?
When I hear, because I love when you have these sessions, and I love everybody else's responses. And for me, when just hearing you just have that, conversation with regards to what you just had, I was like, today is my January 1st, meaning that, we have all these promises of what we're going to do at a particular time period, but weeping may endure for a night and joy comes in the morning. So when I hear that today is my January 1st, I don't have to be sorrowful if I had to file for bankruptcy, and I don't have to be sorrowful because I did have 2 pieces of birthday cake from my girlfriend. Because today is my January 1st. So whatever I did yesterday, whatever, situation I got into yesterday, I don't have to do it today. So, for me, when I think about my January 1st, I'm always thinking about the fact that, beliefs manifest so much more most of the time than a degree does. So if I can think of myself as a blessed and bankable woman, I don't care if I didn't make any money, God forbid, but if I ain't make any money, when I wake up, today's my January 1st. So I can be the best version of myself, and I'm just like, and I can drink some water, and I can fall in love with asparagus, as you just mentioned, you know what I mean? But it's a do-over. I can come back. Don't you have that summit, the comeback champion? Yeah. So whatever, if I had a setback, I can get back up because today is my January 1st. It's just a mind shift.
I love it. I love it. Love it. Happy New Year to everybody out there, by the way. Happy New Year. I know it feels good. It feels good. They're excited, Toni, just like they were back on December 31st. They really are. After a couple drinks, on the back of a napkin, they started writing down those New Year's resolutions. I'm gonna get that trademark. I'm gonna protect my assets. And for whatever reason, it didn't happen. I know for some of you it did, and many of you it doesn't. So take a moment, because I always say that there's truth inside of truisms. And you may have heard that consistency is the key. Consistency is the key. Consistency really is the key. And having said that, what do people struggle with the most? Well, they struggle with consistency. So share one of your secrets that you share with your clients in order to be consistent, because you've got to consistently send agreements off. You got to consistently get those agreements back, by the way. There's certain things you got to do in order to be consistent. Talk about consistency.
For me, I just get a chance to just remind them consistently that they are the CEO of their destiny, consistently that they are the money maker, consistently that they are the one who is going to be the financial trailblazer. And if they don't do it, if they don't break through, if they don't change the status quo, then it won't get done. So when they first get started and they have this nervous thing, I'm like, no, because you said that you are. Just be who you are. Even if you can't see it, even if you don't have the faith, just pretend. I had to pretend a whole bunch of times until I got into it, because consistently, your brain don't know if it experienced it or if it envisioned it. So consistently, I just tell them, you the CEO of your destiny. What does that look like? What tables are you going to be at? What type of contracts? What type of people? Because you got to be as though you are so that you can become who God says you are.
I love it. I said so well. Folks are wondering right now, 2 questions got to be on their mind. What type of clients does your firm take on these days? So who's an ideal client for your firm? And number 2, how can they best stay in this conversation over and beyond? What do you have coming up? Or more importantly, how can they stay in contact with you? Please share.
Absolutely. So my favorite people are people who are already in business for the most part. I do help people who are startups because, somebody helped start me up, right? But my favorite ones are the ones who are like, you know what? I've realized that I am the CEO of my destiny. I've realized that, you know what? I can't do legal because that's not in my dharma. That's not how God made me. And they understand and appreciate that, guess what? But legal still matters. See, if it's just something that you can hear today, gone tomorrow, or you just hustling, you're not my type of person. But when you know that legal ain't going away. In fact, legal is like a jealous mistress, whether or not you know it. As soon as you start getting money gasms for your brilliance in business, you already got a relationship with legal. So just think of her as a jealous mistress. Me and legal, we cool because I know her moves, I know her walk, I know her talk, and I know her get you gotcha because I spent about 15 years in financial fraud investment and enforcement, right? So I pretty much understand that. And I understand that legal ain't going away. You can call it messy, you can try to ignore it, it's not going away. So, but when you are building a bankable brand, when you're building a powerful and profitable business, you know that there are going to be regulators and you're going to know, you already know that there's rules to the game. So here's the thing. When you understand that there's rules to the game, when you understand that each level requires another dimension of you, when you understand and appreciate that you are going to have to hire and fire individuals, you're going to have to protect your assets, you're going to have to put your succession planning, and you need to seek wise counsel, then those are my type of people, right? And so for my type of people, I'm always like, what do you need? Whether or not we're doing a trademark masterclass, whether or not we are doing a legally launched guide, which is really good, by the way, legallylaunchguide.com, legallylaunch.com, legally launched, and I will give you the guide with a whole bunch of good information. Those are my type of people because you in business and you are breaking through your financial, status quo. But more importantly, you're using these 6 inches between your ears so that you can be a better version of yourself. Those are my type of people. And I like protecting those type of people. I love protecting bossy people. You know what I mean? Because they already know the answer to who is them.
So what's the best way for them to contact? I heard you said legallylaunch.com. Is that where you want folks to go?
Well, if they need a guide, they're like, you know what? Toni really is passionate. It's not, she's really passionate about this. This like God made me, this is my sweet spot is law, right? So for individuals who are like, you know what? I wasn't really thinking about all aspects. The Legally Launch Guide will hit you in those all aspects of it. Plus you come into my ecosystem and you'll see what we offer so that you can understand and appreciate that law ain't going nowhere. You know what I mean? It's just a matter of how you handle get your gotcha government so it don't get you.
Get your gotcha government. So they will go to www.legallylaunch.com. Do me a favor, those folks that are out there watching right now, look right below the video and write those words. I mean, Toni's present. She's here with you and me right now, so we're in this conversation. But do her a favor, look right below the video. And it doesn't matter what platform you're on, okay? I know most of you are on multiple platforms right now. Go ahead and look below the video. If you listen to the podcast, just listen a little carefully. But it's www.legallylaunch.com. www, is that right?
Legally Launch.
Yeah, legallylaunch.com. LAUNCH.
Yes, absolutely.
Legallylaunch.com. Go there right now. Make sure you put that right below the video for those folks out there watching and listening right now. We appreciate that. We're moving into a segment now called Rapid Fire. And Rapid Fire is we get to ask any question that's on our mind. And the Toni Moore, the one and only Toni Moore, she can answer or she can not answer. But you know my favorite question, right? I mean, I live for this question. All these are my favorite. I wouldn't ask them, obviously. But this is really one of my favorite, which is, Toni, of all the mentors you've had on this journey of life, and you've had so many mentors, what's one mentor, or not one mentor, what's one lesson you learned from any of your mentors that you could share with us? Any one lesson. And for those folks that are out there, I always like to say, lean in now. Like really, let's take a moment and let's all lean in. Like lean in because, and you can even do your hands like this if you want to, because right now, Toni's going to drop it on you. Like she waited for this moment to share this one lesson that's going to benefit you. Take it away, Toni. Talk to us.
One of the biggest lessons that I learned was that I don't have to continually be the participant, that I am the president I'm the president. I make my presence known by being the president as opposed to the participant. Man, that was a big thing for me right now, especially if you like me, a God girl, all up in church and you always participating, but never ever being able to let your presence be known. That was the biggest shift in the whole wide world for me, is to let me know that I don't always have to be participating as the participant, but I'm the president. Can you imagine if you stop being the participant and you start being the president in your business? You know, especially if you being coach or you in a mastermind, you not the participant, but you the president who can hire and fire. You the president who's making your presence known. You the president who makes the moves. You the president who say, you know what, this too shall pass. You the president who says this is going to be our P&L statement. You the president who says this is how we're going to do our risk management, as opposed to participating and always watching other people and what they do and participating in other people's celebrations more so than your elevation. Man, that was the biggest thing for me right there.
Man, I'm loving it. I'm loving it. You've mentioned this a couple of times. Bank your brilliance. Take a moment, and for those folks that are just tuning in, you listen to the one and only Toni Moore. Take a moment, hit the share button. Take a moment and pay this message forward. That's how you really give a digital applause. It's not about Toni Moore. It's about how you can bless someone else and how you can make a difference for someone else so they can make more money, have more meaning, and protect their assets. So hit the share button right now. Copy the link if you want. You have her permission. You can post it on social media, LinkedIn, or wherever you want. You can do that. She's perfectly okay with that. Bankable brilliance. I think that's what you said a few times. Bank your brilliance. Slow down and talk about what that means for folks and why it's relevant for almost every entrepreneur out there who knows something and will be paid more for what they know than they can do.
Yes. So for me, that was my biggest aha moment, was to understand that I literally have bankable brilliance within me. You know what I mean? The bankable brilliance where it's bankable and it's an asset and it's necessary in my knowledge matters. That's bank, BANK. You know what I mean? That brilliance within me is bankable, you know, and it's an asset, something that I can bring to the table and get paid for. And it's necessary and it's my knowledge, you know. So it was the invisible coins that I didn't know, because all I knew was to what? Go to school, get a good job, get a good man, you know what I mean? Marry as well as I can so somebody can take care of me. But, you know, when you realize that at the end of the day, we're not supposed to be the participants, the presence of us is that, you know, it's in us. So the brilliance within me of what I know how to do. And when I packaged it, you know, so for me, when you understand that, like, I can talk about law all day, but as a tax attorney, I could talk about how to shield your assets and not get caught up with the caught up, almost like make your assets disappear, you know, without evading taxes, you know, or I could talk about estate planning, or I could talk about the mens rea that you need to be a boss lady, a bankable, bossed up woman of God in business, right? That's all the brilliance within me from my experiences. And if I boxed it in and then I appreciated that it is an asset and that it is necessary and people need to know what I know deep down in the inside of my knower, then guess what? I can package that, whether it is $100, whether it is $1,000, you know, whether I'm going to work with someone for the next like 6 months. You know, I usually don't like working with people 12 months, but I tend to have clients such as yourself who, you know, we best friends now, you know, I'm like, how your mama doing and everybody else. But it's the what I know, seemingly what other people know, that thing that you know so well, because people pay for solutions, right? Not just paperwork, but solutions for basically what's going on. So when you have a solution, then you have a brilliance. When you got some brilliance, then you have an ability to increase the money in your bank account. And to also, my God tells me that wisdom, like money like wisdom, is a protector, and money answers all things. So you get a chance to answer all things by boxing your brilliance in something that people will pay for.
I love it. How does Toni Moore expand her comfort zone? How does Toni Moore handle being uncomfortable?
I plead the fifth. I just always wanted to say that.
Done so well. What is something about Toni Moore that people don't know?
One of the things that people don't know is that once upon a time, well, not even once upon a time, I actually write music, you know? I write music with my husband, and I am some of my music charts. I have to finish my application for the Recording Academy so that I can become a member. I and when I write music, what people don't know, don't judge me, is that literally I'm like I have like in my head, I have like what is it, a guitar, acoustic guitar. So if I can strum it with words, and some of my girlfriends know, if I start hearing that acoustic guitar, then I'll be like, oh, I gotta get off the phone, because I'm a creative. I'm creative by nature, but I'm a lawyer by trade. So that's one of the things, Oh, and what another thing that people don't know, but I married this, my brilliance, I married it, but I was so scared to speak, like having the conversations on a live stream would have been unheard of. But I actually got to start by being a Bible teacher for youth from 2002 to about 2018 at my church, and then when I started my first speaking career, I was actually a poet. And one of my friends from a long, long time ago, he made me like memorize some of my poetry, and I would put it out there, but I'd be so nervous that I would read from the cards.
Ah, man, that's kind of cool. Last question, then we'll give you a chance to have closing comments. When is Toni the happiest? What is a happy moment for Toni Moore these days?
I'm actually, it's so weird for some people, but it's not weird to me. But I'm actually happiest when people get it, when they realize that they have to make their presence known, when they realize that they have to package their brilliance, when they realize that they can turn that vision of having a nonprofit or a business, or the vision of turning their 50 cents into like $500. I'm happiest because that to me, they got it. They understood that, guess what? They don't have to be stuck in a rut. They understood that they don't have to be waiting for Prince Charming, who ain't coming, ladies, or for Romeo to show up. That is something within them. So that makes me happy, because it's the little kid in me that always wanted to make sure that people understood that, guess what? We're not stuck on what we was given. We get a chance to make the miracle of manifesting greater from the inside out. So I get really excited when someone speaks what they want, and then they see it come to life on this side of heaven. Okay, I'm just saying.
I like that, on this side. I want to see it on this side. With that being said, let me say first, thank you so much for being on the Happy Entrepreneur Show. You've got a heart to give. You got a heart to serve. Definitely got to have you back. You're amazing. For those folks out there, she's helping us protect our assets. And oh my gosh, you need a Toni Moore, not only in your corner, but in front of you, okay? You are out there fighting for you. You can go back and sit in the corner, okay? Let her get in the ring and do what she does best. With that being said, again, thanks so much. I want to turn over to you. I know sometimes I ask guests if they'll have final thoughts and comments to empower and to inspire folks. And some folks can't do it, and I respect their time and other commitments. But you said, no, Shay, I'm all in. And I don't mind sharing some final thoughts and comments to empower folks that are out there. So, again, thank you so much. For those folks that are out there, do me a favor, hit the share button. And when you hit the share button, just put in that little box that pops up, put www.legallylaunch.com. Just put www.legallylaunch.com. Just go to the site. You can see all the information there. And if it's not for you, pay it forward to another little girl or little boy or big girl or big boy that's out there that wants to be an entrepreneur. They're in business, so they can make sure that they protect their assets, or at least understand what some of the things they have to do and get associated as a first step to the Toni Moore. Over to you, Toni, for your final comments. Again, thanks so much. We appreciate you.
Thank you so much for allowing me to be on this amazing platform. I love that you did get a chance to bring your vision to life. This is something that you wanted to do. And now look at you. And it's so motivational. And it's having an opportunity to be a happy entrepreneur, not a broke, busted, and disgusted entrepreneur, not an entrepreneur who is missing out, but happiness from the inside out. Happy because you blessed, and you bankable, and you powerful, and you profitable. And I want you to also remember, y'all, that you are a happy entrepreneur. Don't get stuck in the weeds. Don't get stuck on what you don't have. I want you to be happy. I want you to find your happily ever after in business. That's what I'm chasing after. What does that look like to you your happily ever after. I don't want you to just look to the left and look to the right. I don't want you to think that, oh my God, this is not going to work out. No, you always get a chance to manifest what you focus on. So as a dreamer turned doer, I need you to understand that we just don't do the darn thing, but we're supposed to dominate in our destiny. And the business is the gift. The business is the thing that God can use to help us bless ourselves, our children, and our children's children. So I need you to box that thing that you do so well. I need you to create a solution that people will pay for. I need you to start bankrolling your brilliance. I need you to start bodyguarding your assets. I need you to start leveraging what you have. I need you to start appreciating the rules. Don't hide from them, because the rules in everything, even if you watch the Queen Gambit, you saw that there was rules to chess. The knight had to move a certain way. The bishop had to move a certain way. The queen gets a chance to move a certain way. The king, and here's the thing, all of that is inside of you. Sometimes you got to be the pawn. Sometimes you got to be the bishop, the roar, the knight, the queen, and the king. All of those positions. So don't lay by the wayside. Don't think, oh, well, none of this matters, because if it don't matter, it won't matter. If it don't matter now, it won't matter ever. But this is the opportunity for you to appreciate the fullness of who you are in business, to appreciate that, guess what? There's some roles that you're going to have to play, but there's always the rules of engagement throughout the in-between. Don't get tossed out because of what you don't know. You know, the same way you invest in looking good, I want you to invest in looking good on paper. I want you to invest in seeking wise counsel. I want you to invest to protect your assets, because that is going to be the opportunity, not some lifetime money, but this is going to be the opportunity in business. That solution that God gave you, that's going to be the opportunity for you to be able to leverage, but for you to be able to increase, for you to be able to go to higher heights and deeper depths. That's, I look at it like I tell people all the time, to me, my business is ministry, it's businessry. And if God gave you the power to create wealth, then I don't want you to get so fearful because of what you don't know. I want you to know what you know. I need you to just show up, and I need you to be able to leverage your assets, and I need you to be able to seek a better table. Don't be trying to create your own table. No, there is room for you at the table that you are meant to serve. So don't let people share you away from it. There is a table right now. Most of us is missing out because we didn't get certified. Most nonprofits is missing out because they didn't get a 501c3. But I want you to start thinking a higher height. What does that look like? Where are you supposed to be? Where's that money? Who are you supposed to bless? How are you going to change the trajectory of your financial destiny? I was broke. You know, I was in the food stamps with my mama now. We was living in the shelters when she was running away from her husbands, you know what I mean? But I didn't want to stay there. Wherever you are, if you can't say that you blessed and highly favored to be there, then you're not meant to be there. I need you to bring in your brilliance. I need you to bring in your mentality, and I need you to bring in your spirituality. Whatever that looked like to you, it's a trifecta of, success, aspects of your success. So you got to bring your whole self to the table so that you can manifest greater things at that table. So this is Toni Moore. As you can see, it's, to me, this is business. This means business. This means your money. This means an opportunity so that you don't have to be stuck. You speak legacy well, then you're going to have to start making some legacy moves.
Making some legacy moves. I love it. With that being said, y'all listen to the one and only Toni Moore. She said it. You've got greatness inside you. She said you're special, and today is your January 1st. You can protect your assets. This is your moment. You can make sure that trademark is in place, those agreements are in place, that copyright is in place. And for you, I know the future is bright. You're putting on your sunglasses. And for you, the best is still yet to come. The best is yet to come. The best is yet to come. And for those folks who want to know who's making all that noise, my name, by the way, is Shay Brown, the happy entrepreneur. Make it a great day, everyone. And I promise you, from the bottom of my heart, we'll make some good things happen. We connect again next time. Remember, time is long. It really is. Life, on the other hand, is very, very short. So you got to live in the moment, and you got to make it count. God bless, and we wish you success. Thanks a lot, Toni. You're amazing. Thank you. We'll see you again soon. For the rest of you out there, peace. We out of here. Promise promise I made to my mom. I only did this message for one person, and that's my mom. This is for you, Mom. Love you. My name is Shay Brown, the happy entrepreneur. Make it a great day, everyone. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
All right,
Check.
Shay Brown.
Mic check, mic check.
All I do is win, no matter what. Got money on my mind, I can never get enough. And every time I step up in the building, everybody hands go up.
Yes. Yeah.
And they stay there, and they stay there, and they stay there. Cause all I do is win.
Yeah.
Thank you. God bless.